Yes, hello. Yes, this is the post-game reaction. Yep, I just watched it as well. Yes, ma'am. Line is to the right. Open the doors very, very soon. Yes, crowd's building. I understand. Yes, sir. This is the post-game reaction. Yep, we all watched the game as well. Lot to talk about. Line to the right, VIP to the left. Actually, VIP, go ahead and come on in. We don't have time to form too long of a line. We got to keep this moving quickly. Yes, minibar is open. We have loosened up the smoking restrictions, yes, sir. You can enjoy that in the lounge in the back. Yeah, regular line to the right. We're letting VIPs in. Go ahead and go in, Mr. Brown. Yes, this is the post-game reaction. Doors will be opening very soon. What's up, Raider Nation? Man, I watched it. You watched it. It's time for the Week 3 immediate post-game reaction. Now, I know I talked a lot of shit about the fucking Buffalo Bills coming into this game. And I laid it out there, historically, as to why I hate the Buffalo Bills, their fan base, and just the team in general. I hate that fucking franchise, and I have for decades. I will talk shit again next week. It's every week. It's what I fucking do. When I laid out my predictions at the beginning of the season, I didn't pick this game as a win. But I like to be positive coming into games, and I really thought last week with the performance that the Raiders had against the Donkeys on the road and the performance the Bills had on the road against the Jets without a quarterback, that this would be a much closer game. It was not. This was really along the lines of the game that I thought, looking at this season before it even started, what this game would be. I thought the Raiders looked better in Week 1 than they should have looked, with as many new moving parts as they have. And I think it caught up to them a little this game. They're just not ready to compete with the top teams at the top of the NFL at this point in the season. With a new quarterback and still learning each other, Garoppolo's still getting comfortable with his weapons and his tools. The defense just looked completely lost today. And there's so many new moving parts to this defense that I think it's going to take some time. It's only week 2, and I had this team picked at 1-1. I still think this is the same team I have picked 10-7 and will be in the postseason. I think no differently about this team today than I did coming in. I'm not ready to jump off a bandwagon. I'm not ready to go walk a plank. I'm not ready to do anything. The team was in this game in the first half against a very strong team. At the end of the second quarter, they started to lose control of the game. And the third quarter, they just completely lost the game. Listen, when you come out and you put together a drive like the Bills put together in the beginning of the second half and just completely chewed the clock up, put them up by a couple scores, and just made it mathematically very, very difficult on you. And made it so that the margin of error was so small. The Bills are one of the top 5 teams in the AFC. We knew this coming in. I wasn't going to pay them due respect because still, as a franchise, to me, it's still fuck your team. I hate the fucking Bills. It is what it is. It's an unfortunate loss. I thought the defense was exposed by a talented offense who has played together for many seasons. This is the type of game you take in with young guys. Bennett got worked by veteran wide receivers all day long. He looked like a rookie out there. It just wasn't a good game for the defense. And you know what? I thought Jimmy Garoppolo as a whole looked good at quarterback. I mean, I'm sure everybody's going to trash him because they're going to look at the stat line. He threw 2 picks. Listen, the first pick, dude was getting fucking smoked on a fucking bull rush. And he would have completed the pass if it wasn't swatted and then picked. So I don't even put that one on the quarterback. The other one, I don't put on him either. Dude, Jacobs, if it hits you in the hands, you got to catch it. Fucking Milano raped him for the fucking ball. I don't put that on the quarterback either. Jimmy G stood strong back there, and he moved in the pocket. He was strong, no happy feet whatsoever. I thought it's the quarterback, he did well. No run block. The running game, I don't know what's up with the running game the first 2 weeks, man. You got basically the same unit coming back, the same fullback, the number 1 rusher in the league, and they can't do a motherfucking thing. Tucker is your leading running back in the game because Josh Jacobs can't even move the line of scrimmage at all. Now, I understand they've played 2 pretty solid defenses back-to-back in Denver and Buffalo, so maybe next week you get a little bit of reprieve because the Squealers are soft. They're soft. So maybe you get a little reprieve next week, but man, this is really right where I thought this team would be. I don't like looking at the score. The score is a 38-10 is not what you wanted to see, especially when you come out and score on the opening drive. We're able to walk right down the field, look like you're clicking on all cylinders. We're all going, woo, woo, look at this. Here we go. Rate of trains rolling through. And then somebody put on the brakes. The defense did not help the offense at all. And the running game just completely snuffed out the ability to get a solid passing game going and established. It just did. You couldn't get play action working at all because the running game, you couldn't get anything sustained on the ground. Jimmy G did well, and he was trying to stretch the field. He was making big plays. You got to get stops, man. You got to get stops. You got to have a turnover or 2. You got to help your team. You got to create some momentum flips. Just none of that happened. None of that happened. But like I said, and I laid this out at the beginning of the season before with my season predictions. I thought these first 5 to 6 games were really where this team was going to grow as a unit on both sides of the ball. That's still where I'm at with this team. I had the Broncos picked as a win. I had the Bills picked as a loss. I had the Steelers picked as a win. I had the first Sparklers game picked as a loss. And then I had them winning a couple in a row against the shit Packers and the Patriots. And all of a sudden, you're sitting at 4-2, number one in the AFC West 6 games in. So pump the fucking brakes. Don't get too excited, because that's still reality, and that can still happen. I'll see you in Vegas next week. We'll be there. Let's have drinks. Let's celebrate afterwards. Because Sunday Night Football, prime time, under the lights, in front of the world, will be the second win for your Las Vegas Raiders. And they'll be 2-1 and still in first place in the AFC West. Yes, they looked bad today. It's part of the process. It's part of the process. See? Eric, same old Jimmy G. How the hell was that Jimmy G's fucking fault? Explain that to me. With your smart ass comment. Explain that to me, Eric. Sprina, explain that to me. I love unintelligent football comments. Explain how this game was the quarterback's fault. When your offensive line couldn't pass rush and stop the fucking blitzes, they couldn't run block, and they couldn't run the fucking ball. Your defense couldn't get any turnovers, couldn't create stops, couldn't give them the ball back, but it's Jimmy G's fault. The fucking asinine comments, I swear that I read sometimes, just blow my fucking mind. Understand football, man. Understand the fucking game. Understand the nuances. Good Lord. That's like the stupidest fucking comment I'll probably read today.
What? Somebody calls.
I know, really. Simple-minded. Simple-minded. Football IQ, fucking like my shoe size. Pump the brakes. Shitty performance. I told my wife. I knew a whole fucking bunch of people. A whole bunch of Raider fans. Raider Myron from Raider Reaction was up in Buffalo. I didn't feel good about this game when I saw it on the schedule in week 2. This is a game that you wanted to see further down the line, further deeper in the schedule, because this is a team that's put together. They didn't look like it last week, and that's what we were hoping we'd see this week. I was crossing my fucking fingers. We're not that team yet, but I think this team will get there, and I feel positive about what I've seen on the offensive side of the ball from the quarterback play. But am I ready to change my predictions? I still think this team is 10-7. I still think this team's going to end up with a wild card. And if they overperform, that'll be phenomenal. But I told my wife I felt bad for all of my fucking buddies from Raider Nation that were driving up and traveling to Buffalo because I thought this is what we were going to see. In my heart's heart, I thought this is what we were going to see. I was trying to be the optimistic fan, projected the game prediction at 22-20, Raider win, because that's how the Raiders needed to win. They had to drag this game down, slow it down, drag the possessions down, grind it out, make it a running game, eat up clock, and win a close one. That's how they needed to win. And they didn't perform that game plan. Not at all. They couldn't slow Buffalo down. Mad Max. Oh, fuck. Corey just took words right out of my mouth. I watched Mad Max Behold all motherfucking game. Again. And one of the dumbest rules, okay? Listen, if I'm a defensive coordinator in the National Football League, if I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm looking for loopholes in rules all the time. Because my job and my career relies on me stopping your ass. So I'm looking for loopholes. I just seen the biggest motherfucking loophole. Man, I could jump fucking Free Willy's ass through that fucking loophole that I just seen. If I'm a defensive back and I see an official throw a flag for a hold, I'm looking for the fucking keyest fucking player on their offense that's anywhere near around me. It's got the fucking ball. And I am coming in like a fucking nuclear missile. And I'm lighting that motherfucker up. And I'm sending him to the fucking concussion tent on a fucking stretcher on the back of a fucking gator. Because you know what's going to happen? They're going to throw a fucking 15-yard flag called offsetting fucking penalties. His ass is going to the fucking medic tent. And they're going to replay the down. That's a loophole right there. That's old school motherfucking football. Exactly. I would tell every single one of my fucking linebackers and safeties, especially my safeties. You see a fucking flag for a hold, you know it's on the offense. You see their number one wide receiver coming across the middle, you take his motherfucking head off. Quarterback's running, you see a fucking hold, you light that son of a bitch up. Fuck you and your weak ass fucking game. That shit's bullshit, man. So it's just, and how do you pick up a flag? No, you can't review penalties. You can't pick up a flag. How are you going to pick up a flag on a pass interference call that motherfucking Ray Charles is sitting next to Stevie Wonder and they're going like, I seen the penalty. I did too, brother. Come on, seriously? And everybody's like, you reversed the penalty? You called it a catch and then took the catch away. That was the dumbest fucking series of officiating I'd seen in a fucking minute. The league wanted the Bills to win. They're obviously, they've got a lot of marketing in Josh Allen. He's one of the poster boys. They're cupping his balls. Just wasn't a good game. Wasn't a good game. Sunday Night Football. On to Pittsburgh, man. On to the Steelers. The home opener. This means nothing. 1-1. 1-0 in the AFC West. Still sitting atop the AFC West. In first place. Tied. Fuck it. You weren't going 17-0. I hadn't picked it 10-7. I had this game picked as a loss before the season. It is what it is. I just wish it wasn't 38-10. Now I gotta go onto TikTok and fucking listen to these fucking Bills fans. I'm gonna have to go in there fucking bobbing and weaving. Bills Mafia. See, these are huge games for Bills fans because they'll never ever have anything. Because you notice what's missing from this fucking shithole, this armpit of a fucking stadium back here? You notice what's missing? Banners. Anything that's significant that identifies the fact that you've won anything. That's what it's missing. That's what this armpit of a fucking stadium and this armpit of a town over this little fucking armpit of the country. That's what they're missing. Banners. Banners. Anything that fucking resembles any sort of success. That's why you got OJ's name still plastered on this shithole fucking stadium. Because he's all you got. You have to hold on to the juice because you got nothing else to grasp onto. Like I said earlier, I don't give a fuck if you win. Historically, your fan base and your franchise are still losers. And always will be. Until you win something. Anything in this fucking league. You're a fucking stepchild. You're a fucking bastard franchise. You're on the fucking kiddie table. I don't care if you won. Sit down and shut the fuck up. I'm out. Peace, love, Raider Nation.